Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bangers, Bops, and Banter. This is episode number 51, and today
Woo.
we got quite the show for you. I'm one of your hosts, Joe. I'm here with my co-host, Brendan,
Hi, I'm the co-host Brendan.
and we have a guest tonight.
Oh, who's the guest, dude?
I don't know.
Dang, he sounds like a jackass. And like his name is
This guy
Mike or
before my
something.
life.
Yeah. There we go. Here's our guest. But we got a cool show coming up. We have a special episode today. It's
It's a
the
triple
wall.
feature.
It's the wall.
We got Wall the album, we got Wall the movie, and we got Wall the Nostalgia Critic review, which is one of the best things ever put on YouTube. Full disclosure.
And
Yes.
sort of the Wall, the Nostalgia Critic album, which has more stuff than just the review, but I don't feel like we'll get too into that.
I mean, if we do, I haven't heard it. We're doing
Okay.
finger guns.
Never mind then.
But first, we got some movie and music industry news.
Yeah, we got some music and movie news to go after. Which will happen in a second after I finish typing this
Oh
message
my
to a friend.
fucking god, Joe.
He's asking questions about the podcast. Okay, it's Jacob. He's asking
Is
questions about
Jacob,
the
does
podcast.
Jacob want to come on?
Maybe.
Does he want to drop in right now, even though he has no idea what we're talking about?
I
No.
don't know if that would be a good idea.
What are you talking about?
We'll see.
That's a great idea.
We got music and movie news. Let's get into it. So first in music news, I guess this is actually movie news technically, but Japanese Breakfast's memoir, Crying in H Mart, is being made into a movie, which is pretty cool.
Oh,
That's cool.
Yeah.
I could go for
I
some
need to listen to that new
breakfast.
Japanese Breakfast album. You just
Yeah.
reminded me.
But yeah, this is the first book published by her, and now MGM is making it into a film. Pretty cool.
Amazon.
Yeah,
Also-
Amazon's making it into a movie, baby.
Yeah.
That's not good.
She will also be doing the soundtrack, which is really awesome.
Oh, that's
Good.
Yeah. Next in music news, De La Soul have new catalog owners, and they say they're gonna be working with the band to bring albums to streaming services, which is nice.
Woo.
Oh my god, finally.
Yeah.
Been missing out on that.
Yeah. I haven't listened to any of their stuff, and it's mainly just because it's not on streaming services.
That's not true. You've listened to their best song, Moments, on the Gorillaz album, Humans.
Well,
You know,
that's
that's
a
an opinion.
Gorillaz song.
No, but it's featuring De La Soul, and it's like, clocks on the wall, to the watches on the wrist, it's the
I
moments that we
swear to God,
live.
talk about humans one more time, I'm never letting you on the show again.
You and I both know that's not true. You love me.
You want to find out?
No. I'm a little bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally in music news, Spotify is facing a House Judiciary Committee probe over the discovery mode.
Oh?
They have been, or I think they already implemented it. But it's, for those who don't know, Spotify did the really cool thing of offering discovery mode for artists, which allows them to take less royalties in return for more promotion of their song on playlists, which is really fucked up.
Serious? Are you
Yeah,
serious?
yeah.
It's fine. I'll pay you in exposure.
Yeah, so it's for specific
Exactly.
songs. It's less than the standard rate, and basically Spotify will give it higher visibility on playlists that are
But
generated by
the
algorithms.
but the standard rate is so bad.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty messed up, and now they are facing um this probe from the House Judiciary Committee, which is good.
Well, I mean,
Um,
Yeah.
there is a little more news, Joe, that you apparently didn't write down, and that's on you.
no, there's more.
Because
There's more news. We're done with music news.
well, but there is music news, Joe.
No, I are
There's
you
another bit of
saying?
music
No, no, no.
news.
I know
News.
what you're
That would
thinking
be
of. That's a different. No, no, no.
that's
We
movie
we
news.
have that here. Okay,
You
we have that
better.
here.
You
It's
better.
in a different place.
You
Okay.
better.
It's movie news. It's not music
Yeah.
news.
It's music news.
No,
He
it's
was
not.
Music Man first, maybe.
Um. But yeah. So next, so moving on to movie news. Um. Cruella, the movie, the
Ooh! Oh my
brilliant
god, it's so bad.
The
film
movie.
about Lady Joker, who
Yeah.
aren't her parents killed by dogs, and
Her
that's why
parents are
she.
killed by
Her
dogs.
parents
Yeah.
are killed by Dalmatians, which is why she hates Dalmatians and wants to skin
Okay,
them.
here's the thing. Okay, spoilers for Cruella. At the end of the film, she doesn't hate Dalmatians. She doesn't.
What?
She adopts some fucking Dalmatians at the end of the film.
Bruh. Bro, hold on.
The same Dalmatians that
is
killed
this-
her mother, in fact.
Is this an alternate timeline? Dude, are we getting into like a new live action Disney cinematic universe, right? Like this is her superhero origin?
Maybe, honestly. Because they do set Cruella up to be a good person at the end of the film. Like, she's the hero. It's not like a Joker where he is still definitely a villain.
Well, to be fair, it's also a Disney movie, and doing that kind of ending would hurt their squeaky clean image.
Yeah, it's oh my god, I have so many complaints about that film. Also, I watched it in like a theater and it flashbangs you like a lot.
You
'Cause
watched
there's a lot
it in
of,
a.
like, yeah. Because there's a lot of like photography montages, and oh my god, I like could not. It just kept flashbanging me. I was
Bro,
terrible.
I thought you already had like Disney Plus. It's basically a TV movie anyway.
Yeah. It was for the experience of going to the theater, and I know someone who wanted to go, so
I want to go to the theater so bad.
well,
I
you
need
can
that.
watch Cruella.
Well, you'll be happy because you can watch the sequel to Cruella that's in the works at Disney.
Are you serious?
Serious?
Yeah.
No! Ah.
What a segue, by the way. Good job, Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in pain.
Yep. The director of Cruella and the screenwriter are both expected to return for the sequel. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Dude, here's what kills me the most about all these live action Disney movies, right? Like, there are so many like genuinely talented people who work on these, right? Like for example, the costume work in Cruella is actually really fucking good. But like,
Yeah.
then the Disney comes in and just sucks all the life and soul out of these movies, and it's like, come on.
There are like some parts of Cruella that are fun, but on the whole, it just doesn't. It just
Yeah.
doesn't work out.
Michael Roden, what are you doing? That's Mickey Mouse's legal name. If you weren't aware.
But like actually a thing, or did you
No.
like? Okay, because it's a brilliant.
No, you know those really great, really cursed Mickey Mouse animated shorts that they started doing in like 2013?
Yeah.
I call those the Michael Roden shorts
Ah.
because they're perfect. and I love them.
All right.
I love you. Sorry, what?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Um,
if you wanna come over to my place after the podcast is over, maybe you and I could
No, I'm
could hold hands and listen to Radiohead.
might just do that.
like if you
Ooh.
listen to Radiohead, you'll never hold anyone's hand ever.
Oh no.
So, yeah. Anyway,
Is this because I'm a creep and a weirdo?
yeah.
Ah.
All right.
What kind of
Um,
news we got, Joe?
next in movie news, A Quiet Place 3 is set for release in 2023.
Oh my god.
We got
Okay.
another one.
I don't. People like A Quiet Place. I don't know the reception to the second one.
It's
So
been
Out
really
like,
right
good
now,
so
but
far.
yeah, like this
okay.
Quiet Place 2, it's like it's good. It didn't need to happen,
Yeah.
but it's good. The first one's better, and franchises make me sad unless it's a franchise I like, god damn it, in which case there aren't enough.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
When are we gonna get another Godfather? Come on.
Dude, Godfather Part 4 starring Michael Cera as Michael Corleone. Think
Oh my
about it.
God, let's
Think about it.
I would
go.
actually
Think
love
about
that.
it.
That would be incredible.
Dude, I want Michael Cera as the leading role in fucking everything. I want him to be the next James Bond. I want him to be the next Indiana
I want
Jones.
him to be Thanos.
Oh my god, yes!
That would be incredible. All right.
Oh.
Well, that brings us to our last bit of movie news, which is very sad to hear. But Drake Bell.
Hey, Joe! You remember that
Yeah.
episode of Drake and Josh where Josh and Megan had to bust Drake out of prison because he diddled an underage, or attempted to diddle an underage girl?
I don't.
Well, this week in movie news, actor Drake Bell got arrested for sending illicit messages to a 15-year-old who he's also met with in person and has apparently been talking to for like 3 years, which is cool.
Amazing.
It's so good. You know what the best thing is, though? You know what's great? You know what I love about it?
What?
The biggest revelation here, which you could have easily found on Wikipedia, but like, who the hell is looking up Drake Bell on Wikipedia in 2021? Okay, I see Brendan raising his hand. Anyone else? No? Okay.
No, just me.
Okay, so his real name is not Drake. That is his middle name. His first name is fucking Jared. We should have seen this coming.
Oh man.
Of course he diddles kids. His name is Jared.
Man, Jared really kind of ruined the name Jared for everybody named
Really
Jared.
did. Yeah, I'd feel
Man.
bad for people named Jared if just they weren't named Jared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
I should mention also, apparently last year his ex-girlfriend accused him of emotional and physical abuse. So it's not,
I never thought it would be
it's
so
so
simple, but
but
I find a
find a
way.
way,
I
I
find a
find a
way.
way.
Oh my god. Ah. Drake and
All
Josh
right.
is the gift that keeps on giving.
It is. Genuine. There's a lot of like a really good jokes in Drake and Josh. It's like
There is.
surprisingly well written.
Oh my god.
All right.
But anyway, enough about the best actor on television.
We're gonna be moving on to the question of the week, which
Mate.
considering we're doing the wall, and the wall, we figured we'd ask the fitting question: what's the best Pink Floyd album? You know?
I want to just come out right out and say it. The Wall. You're
Damn.
welcome.
Ooh,
Damn.
ooh, ooh! What a spicy take.
It's not a spicy take.
It's not, no,
It's-
because
I think most Pink Floyd fans don't think it's The Wall is their best album.
okay, hold on,
Yeah.
Joe, are you blaspheming right now?
No,
No, I think just in
that,
general,
like,
most Pink Floyd fans that I've like met and seen think like
Yeah.
Wish You Were Here or Animals is their best record.
Yeah.
yeah.
So like,
But as for, I think like the average person, I think like The Wall is the average person's pick.
No,
I'd
it's
say.
definitely Dark Side of the Moon. It's the average person.
Oh,
yeah.
well,
Dark Side of the Moon's one of the best-selling albums of all
That's
time.
not Dark Side of the Moon.
Are you cracked? Dude, so like, okay, I think that musically, right, like, Wish You Were Here is easily the best Floyd album, but what The Wall does, right, like, The Wall is a storytelling feat. The Wall is the goddamn rock opera. And I think for that, it is just so much more impressive and so much more fun to listen to because of it. Even if not all the songs are friggin' bangers, right? They're not supposed to be. It's part of the narrative.
I guess I find the walls like a little bit. I find the walls a bit inconsistent, personally. Um,
Well, I
it's
find you to be
weird.
an
I have like,
inconsistent kisser, Joe, so fuck off.
okay. I have it's weird. Like the album and the movie for me have different problems.
Yeah.
Because like the movie is more like focused. Like they don't use all the songs in the movie.
Do they not?
I don't think so. Because
No.
it's. I'm
Did-
pretty
they
sure
must
the
have-
movie is. Because to my knowledge, or maybe they do.
No, I mean they definitely cut some. Like Vera comes to mind immediately that they cut.
Yeah.
No, they did, Vera. Are you kidding me?
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did. Hold on. Okay, Stack Exchange, solve this article argument. So Empty Spaces is swapped out with What Shall We Do Now, which is basically an extended version. There's a new song called When the Tigers Broke Free.
Yeah. They don't use The Show Must Go On and Hey You.
Yeah, Hey You. They do use Vera.
They do. Oh.
Yeah, dude, I was unironically singing along to it when we were watching the movie yesterday. You bitch.
But yeah, like the wall for me is just like slightly like it's kind of bloated a little bit in a way. And I think that's because when you're listening to the album, it doesn't feel as focused as when you're watching the movie.
I don't know. I find the movie not very focused. Interesting.
I think the movie's pretty. The movie isn't super focused, but that's like to me.
I find the movie like we're already getting into like the review.
Yeah. Quick, what is everybody else on our Discord server that we ask this question on every week say?
We'll keep talking about the question. I just find the wall comes off like a bit inconsistent when compared to Animals or Wish You Were Here.
Okay, you're wrong and dumb,
both.
and I'll tell you why you're both, but not until we
No.
hear other people's answers.
I mean, I don't think he's wrong. Like I have problems with like each of the Wall, Wish You Were Here, and Animals, but they're all different issues between the three. Like Wish You Were Here and Animals also very good. If you say Dark Side of the Moon, please listen to other Pink Floyd albums. That's my only thing to say about that.
I mean, Dark Side's fine. Dark
It's
Side's
fine,
good.
but you haven't listened to other Pink Floyd albums. Is what that tells me.
Dark Side's also like a little. It's also weird because it's like this awkward transition between, kind of this Sid Barrett's leadership and Roger Waters. Waters era is best era.
I don't even really like this movie, but like it kind of like lines up with The Wizard of Oz. Did you guys know that?
Oh fuck! Fuck off! Oh
Oh,
my
no.
god.
Anyways, on our server, we have some great answers here. We have one says "Wish you were here."
Which
Good answer.
with like 3 other people agreeing because it is the
'Cause
best.
it's
That
the
is a
best
good
one.
answer.
Mhm.
Um,
It's the correct answer.
anyone who says metal is a fool and wrong, also a good answer. Metal is not the best Pink Floyd album. It has its
Yeah.
moments. Not
It's
the best
very
Pink Floyd
weird.
album.
It's a very like it feels like it's literally cut in half between 2 different styles.
Yeah,
Pink Floyd.
because it was written by like a bunch different people. Like each song was or something, something like that. I remember looking it up at some point. But metal is just like super weird. I metal's very inconsistent. Anyways, got another one saying the final cut. Interesting answer. Not like one of the big 4, but I like the final cut. I don't like it as much as other Pink Floyd albums, but
The big 4, i.e., the Roger Waters albums.
yeah. Got well, another coming in with animals.
Good choice.
Good choice. Is that it? And then the wall with Mike. He said the wall.
I say The Wall. Again, I think musically, Wish You Were Here is better, but you can eat my ass.
I will. So,
Thank you.
So good. We only had good answers. We had the wall, Wish You Were Here, animals, and the final cut. Nobody said Dark Side of the Moon. Go us. We listened to Pink Floyd.
All right. With that, we'll get into just all of it, I guess.
What's next week's question?
Oh yeah, next week's question. Next week's question is going to be what's a song that gives you shivers every time you listen to it? So yeah.
Anything Joe sings.
Ooh. Right, you like that? Ooh.
Muffin Man by Frank Zappa is just such an emotional journey. I can't handle it.
Let's go.
Dope Smoker, really. Just, an hour straight.
Gucci Gang? Anyone? Anyone?
Gucci Gang is kind of fire, not gonna lie. really fun track.
I hope it's not giving anybody shivers, though. It's not that type of song.
Giving me indigestion, does that count?
When Lil Pump said "fuck WestJet," oof.
Yo, that one Nav song where Young Thug admits to wanting to fuck his aunt.
Yeah. That's quality. I mean, to be fair, have you seen his aunt?
I haven't, actually.
Same.
Wait. Let me do some research.
I'm imagining her right now. Oh, no. You got some saucy aunt pics there, Brendan?
I'm not finding anything.
You got aunts gone wild up in this business. I don't like that face you're making. That's concerning.
No, it's just everybody's just complaining about the lyrics. I can't find any pictures of the aunt in question.
That's a shame. That's a real shame. I guess we're just gonna have to go on to review the album / movie or something.
Damn.
All
right. Well, let's get into it.
Okay. Let me start by saying I like the album better than the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
And that's not even because the movie's bad. It's really goddamn well done, which we will get into. But the reason why The Wall works, and this is kind of a limitation of Medium, it's most of the tracks, especially on side 3, are specifically about the main character's inner turmoil and angst, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of what's happening on this album in the narrative is very, very abstract.
Mm.
And so suddenly, when you're tasked with putting it on the big screen, it's like, how do we make this into something concrete? And the movie, for its part, actually does some really interesting things. It makes it an already dark and visceral album even more so.
Mm.
But at the same time, it loses a lot of what makes it so powerful. You know, it becomes less relatable, I guess.
Mm.
Relatable might not be the right word, because that's a little like, oh man, I am the Joker. We do live in a society. But like,
I mean, it's not very relatable, I guess, when he
beats the
imagines
shit out of
becoming a neo-Nazi and stuff.
yeah, not that stuff. No, but I
Uh-huh.
mean the struggle of not being able to connect with people and just blocking out the world and trying not to, and like the whole idea of the album and movie is you gotta let the world in or you're just gonna be a shit person, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's
Like,
definitely interesting how I think the movie tries to reinterpret the message of the album and portray it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it gets bogged down a bit um, in trying to portray a narrative,
Yeah.
because there's like a narrative in the music already, but like you said, it's pretty abstract, and these are more just like moments of things that secluded Pink from the world and caused
Yeah.
him to build the wall, and eventually the tear down of the wall. Um, Whereas the movie is trying to connect these moments, and I think it, like, to me, the movie feels very disconnected a lot of the time, which is one of my problems with it.
it's a
I
disagree. Like, I don't think it's trying to necessarily connect the. Like, it feels just like a montage of like. I understand like the disconnected part of that, but I don't
Well,
think it's trying to build a narrative out of them.
I guess
It's more so just like, here's all of this like stuff that our main character protagonist is like thinking of, and like all of these things that inform who he is essentially.
well, can you give an example of it being disconnected?
um, so like you start out and you get uh Pink. Well, okay, so Pink starts out in the hotel room, and then you get his childhood, right, with his father dying and him needing a father figure, and it's just like he needs a father figure that never really comes up again. It's just part of
Well, no, it's
his
not
thing.
that he needs a father figure.
Well,
It's
he was
that,
missing a father figure.
yes, he was missing a father figure, but um the big thing is it caused both him and his mother to build like an unhealthy codependence that really
Mm-hmm.
fucked Pink up for life.
Yeah.
Yes, but the I don't think the movie does a very good job of showing that in a, like, because we sort of see that, but we see more of that. We really see the consequences of that later.
Um, I'm actually going to disagree with you. I think that the film version of the song "Mother," along with what's happening on screen, because "Mother" is one of the most significantly different tracks from the album version. Mostly in terms of
Mm-hmm.
instrumentation, but still, uh, it's much more explicit on screen. You get to see just how uncomfortable the whole situation is, especially the school dance scene,
Yeah.
where you know he and his date are on opposite sides of the room. His mom was like watching them both like a goddamn hawk, right?
Mm.
Uh, and then everyone's going to dance, and he goes to dance with his mom.
Yeah.
And just the awkwardness of it too is punctuated by like the height difference because like inexplicably young Pink only has the one actor, and so like everyone else is like middle school teenage years, whereas this is still like the little kid.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm definitely in agreement with Mike here. Like, I think the movie does a much better job of visualizing what's going on. Like, if anything, I think the album doesn't do nearly as good of job of like connecting everything and making it feel
Yeah,
one.
and part of that's because the biggest difference between the movie and album is in the first basically the songs that make up the first side of the album, right?
Yeah, they reorder stuff. I think that
Yeah,
makes it make more narrative sense.
they reorder stuff and they add 2 tracks.
Yeah.
And like so they take Goodbye Blue Sky off of side 2, put it on side 1 before in between Wall Part 1 and I don't remember the track that leads into Wall Part 2, but
Happiest
yeah, there's
days of
two
our
tracks.
lives.
Yeah, yeah. Um and there's also 2 additional tracks in the opening that really expand on Floyd as a kid. And because of that, the especially side 3 of the album, which is the part where he's completely retreated inwards, but before he goes full neo-Nazi, that's the part of the album that drags the most, and it's actually very brisk here.
Yeah.
Like the movie is better paced than the album.
Yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
it's weird to me because like it's simultaneously like a strength and a weakness
Yeah.
of the movie where you have uh, firstly you have a uh like I guess slightly better paced narrative, but also one that is uh more overt in what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
Um and which definitely leads it to me feeling a lot more focused as like a piece of like art. Whereas the album to me, maybe it's just because it's in musical form and I have a harder time like paying attention to like everything that's going on in the music. But the album feels more abstract um in its portrayal of Pink, but at the same time that's like sort of an advantage in a weird way.
Yeah.
Whereas because the album is more so you just kind of let the sound and feel of everything wash over you. Um, I do think I feel like for me they did like a very good job with visualizing the album.
Yeah.
Um, because this
Especially the
music,
animated sequences. Those are
yeah,
gorgeous.
the animation is really fantastic, and I think it's definitely probably the strongest part of it. Um,
Mhm.
it's very uh, it. I think the very symbolic nature of it is really good at just like communicating exactly what it means and like what's going on. Um, and that definitely helps a lot. Although I think it's like, at least personally, I thought it was a bit too blunt and on the nose at points. Um, in its portrayal of the music.
Like,
Um, how do I say it just felt very obvious. Like the symbolism in the movie, it was kind of like beating you over the head with the message in a way, and just how it's portrayed, if that makes sense. Like, that could be simultaneous. Like, depending on who you are, that could be like a very like good thing for you. But it was just, to me, was very like, I get it at this point, if that makes sense. They
at,
felt
at,
like there's
at what part of the movie were you like, I get it at this point?
most of, like, whenever it started making a point about, or whenever we're going through a sequence, like the World War II sequences, or the uh or like the what's one, um the trying to think of one in particular.
I
It
mean,
I think
the
I
very
do know
first
what
one
you're
with the
talking about.
war. I mean, the enemy
I've already
sequence.
mentioned the World War II stuff, but it's just like, to me it was so like obvious what it was talking about that there wasn't any room for me to interpret anything about the film or what was going on.
I mean,
Like, to me, there was no subtlety to the movie in a
I
way that took away from the experience.
I would definitely
Like,
hard disagree with that. That being said, I do know like part of what you're talking about because like obviously this was written as an album first, not as a movie first, and because of that, you kind of have this issue where the songs are still going on, and the songs are their own. Like they are fine. Like it's good that the song is continuing, but like they're kind of out of things to show visually.
yeah, that's kind of
Is that what you mean?
yeah, that's like my point. Where like, um, a lot of the metaphor used, like it's very clear what it means immediately, and because of the length of the songs, it kind of just keeps going. Like, you have the sequence where the kids are faceless and they're being like put into a meat grinder, and that like sequence of them being like shoved in just kind of keeps going, and I'm like, I understand the point it's making at that part of the film, essentially.
Honestly, that's one of the sequences I didn't really think went on too long. That's fair.
It's
It's
just
probably
like,
just because you like the music.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. I do really like this album. Slash,
yeah,
yeah.
um, like, you
The
just,
music carries the movie, which isn't surprising.
yeah.
It just makes it a strange movie.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with Joe that the movie's very heavy-handed. I don't really think there's much room for interpretation, if any.
I mean, if Doug Walker has anything to say about it, there is. But
Oh
apparently,
my
Doug
God.
Walker did spin his own interpretation of the film.
Wow. We'll get to that. Just holy shit.
yeah.
Yeah, I think like the imagery and stuff is all just very heavy-handed.
Yeah, they definitely make things a lot more concrete than they are in. Yeah, no, I would agree with that. The imagery is much more heavy-handed than the music is.
Yeah, that's kind of how I describe it. It's just, it's like, here's what this means.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It is, I think, worth pointing out how excellent of a, like, specifically of a lyricist Roger Waters is. Holy shit. He like signed one of the movie exclusive songs I don't remember the title of, but the sequence where he's trying his dad's hat on and looking in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
And like, the letter was, the line something along the lines is, the letter was personally signed by the king's rubber stamp, and it's like, oh, that's good. That's very good. Like, Waters just has this ability to, with in a single line, just convey so much, almost like bitterness, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
and part of that is because Waters is very anti-authoritarian in like every way, shape, and form.
Mm.
It's actually also, I think, something where you have a little bit of mixed message in this movie, just because the stuff pertaining to Pink's father is in the narrative and to Pink, um, just like the base reason why he isn't able to properly interact with the world.
Mm.
But there's also this anti-war commentary going on that
Yeah.
like has nothing to do with the film's actual narrative.
Mm.
In fact, narratively, the film is more concerned with like the politics of fascism than the war against it. But it's weird and it's very Roger Waters.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's definitely interesting.
Yeah,
Um, I guess that is a part that feels a bit. I definitely get what you're saying. It feels weird in some ways.
Mhm.
Uh,
And
I think
they
it's
devote like a lot of screen time to it, I think, as
yeah.
well.
yeah,
I think it's um. I feel like it's less about specifically being against World War II and
yeah. No, and
rather,
more anti-war in general.
yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
more so dedicated to just the devastation that occurred because of the war and how
yeah.
that like destroyed a generation essentially.
Mhm. I think
Um,
the animation, the first animation of the war, I think reinforces that as well.
yeah,
Oh, for
Showing,
Goodbye Blue Sky.
was it, yeah,
Yeah.
or
I
yeah.
I am just remembering the Nostalgia Critic part of that.
Oh my god. I mean,
um,
I've said my piece. If you guys want to move on to that, if you don't, that's totally
no,
fine.
I definitely I was thinking about it more. I kind of understand where Brendan's coming from with that film feels like unfocused, and I wouldn't say it's unfocused, but more that there's so much that the album covers, and the album does a good
I think
job
that's a
of
good point.
covering it because again, it's more abstract, and in general, I think you can cover a lot broader of a much broader range of ideas in an album than you, or at
Mhm.
least it's easier to than in a
Yep.
movie.
Well, because you can imply
'Cause
more things at once.
yeah, um, and because in the film, there's definitely there's a lot going on in a way that like how do I describe it? Because the film simultaneously this commentary on the lead character Pink, just somewhat of a representation of Roger Waters, um,
Mm,
and his Pink's mental state and all of the things that lead Pink to enter this sort of headspace, but also it's a commentary on the devastation of World War II and Thatcher's crackdown on youth culture and fascist movements within the UK, um, and
yeah,
all
and
sorts of these other things that are also present in the record but are more subtle, I guess.
yeah, and I think for that like commentary, the Wall Part Two is the most interesting spin on it, where it's the Wall Part Two is a song that has a completely different meaning in the context of the album slash movie than it does on its own.
Yeah.
Um, because in the context of the album and movie, it's basically making a point of, especially like even in the way that you teach these children you are doing the same heavy-handed authoritarian shtick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Which-
stripping away individuality.
Yeah.
The main point of that song, in my opinion, at least.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and fun fact, George Orwell's 1984 says the same thing about England, except instead he compares it to the USSR, and it's like, hey, you're doing the same propaganda shit. What's going on here?
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's not relevant to this album movie.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting because I feel like the movie could have done like maybe a little bit better job of linking the ideas of like this authoritarian like schooling system and the stripping of individuality of these kids, and the homegrown fascist movements that are starting to sprout.
Well,
Yeah,
what I
like-
do
like
find
it-
interesting. You go.
Sorry.
You go.
Well, because like there is some stuff like in the part where Pink becomes like the uh not dictator but leader,
Yeah, leader of that.
Fascist group.
Yeah, I don't
Hammer
think
Bros.
the Hammer Bros.
Hammer Bros, let's go.
God.
You can see. I believe you can see like, are there still like faceless people in the crowd at that point? I can't remember.
I think so, and we've also seen actually prior to Pink like becoming the head of this movement. During his breakdown, he also becomes faceless for several shots.
Yeah, I feel like it could have done a bit better job with connecting those ideas.
Yeah.
I sort of get where Brendan was coming from. Or wait, were you saying that it was like not it was lacking a narrative, or it was trying to build a narrative, or something
I
like?
think. Well, I don't know if it. I guess it doesn't have to build a narrative, but if it is trying to build a narrative, I feel that narrative is disconnected.
Okay.
Just because it brings up all these ideas, and I don't ever really think it finishes a lot of the ideas. And there's also just like scenes and stuff that I feel are out of place or go on too long, stuff like that. Like there's that one scene that has nothing to do with Pink, where it's just like there's these people in the street, and then they get rounded up, and they start like breaking the glass of the store, and they get rounded up by police.
No. That's because of the riot that Pink incited.
Oh, see, I didn't even get that.
Because that's also sort of.
Are you talking about
Harder.
the one at the beginning of the movie or the one near the end? Because the beginning is a flash forward.
I'm guessing the one towards the end where.
No, the one it was like in the middle.
Yeah, it was the middle end part of the film.
Was it the one for oh, the song's called like Young something that I am just a newborn.
No, it wasn't Young
It depends.
Lust.
Wait, because there's multiple riots. There's one point where police begin to round up, and beat or attack, just youth in general, which is part of
That's at like the beginning.
Yeah, that's the same thing that's happening at the very end with during the immediate aftermath of In the Flesh without a question mark.
Yeah.
At least the way I interpreted it, In the Flesh question mark is what's actually happening because he is bald and doesn't have his eyebrows there either. And In the Flesh, no question mark is how he is perceiving it.
Interesting.
Well, so In the Flesh without question mark, that's when he's on his fascist dream kick.
Yes. Because remember, prior to In the Flesh question mark, he is locked in his hotel room. The nurse is banging on, no, not the nurse, the maid's banging on the door. It won't open, and that's the same way that Comfortably Numb opens up right before In the Flesh, no question mark. Thank you for naming your tracks like that, Roger Waters. I get why you did it, but it makes it hard to talk about, you motherfucker.
What is it? But yeah, so basically, there's multiple different riots. The ones where the police are cracking down on protesters is kind of this um commentary similar to um it's more of a commentary on just the authoritarianism within England
Yep.
in general. Um,
Yeah.
but then there's also the one that Pink incites, which is more so linked to these fascist
Yeah.
movements that come as a result and the violence that they cause.
Oh, you're talking about the sequence where all the guys with hammers break into the shop and try to steal a TV, and then the police round them all up, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
What song does that happen during? I don't remember.
I don't know. It's like at the very beginning of one of the songs. I forget which. It's before Young Lust.
That is not before Young Lust.
yeah, no,
I think it is.
no, because that happens around the time that Pink becomes.
Yeah, that is either late Act
No,
3 or
because
early Act 4.
He wasn't a dictator yet. I'm pretty sure.
No,
That
you might be thinking of a different riot.
yeah.
I don't know, because I remember the guys smashing the hammer trying to steal a TV. They get rounded up by police, and then like 2 women steal the TV while the other people are getting rounded up.
Yes.
And I like the Pink wasn't there, and I was just like, okay, hello, thank you.
I'm pretty sure that happens after.
That happens well after Young Lust. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember earlier in the movie. Maybe I'm just crazy.
I think you might be, or we're gaslighting you.
Yeah.
But also, gaslighting isn't a real word, and you're fucking crazy for thinking it is.
But yeah. Anyway, I had a point I was making like a while ago that I wanted to come back to, but it was just that the film sort of as heavy-handed as it is, I do wish it did a better job of linking ideas together and sort of showing like cause and effect, essentially.
Well, what I think is interesting, I think is kind of the biggest leap that the movie makes. At least, it was a bigger leap at the time than it is in current year argument. With all the shit that's happened the last way more than 5 years, but the horrible insular attitude and worldview that Pink has is precisely what births these movements in the first place.
Yeah.
So you're calling Pink an incel now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, fucking yes.
He kind of is.
Well, he's not an incel. He
has sex.
Fucking.
He can't, yeah.
But he doesn't like it.
Well, he doesn't really seem interested in it.
No, it's like it's literally just him filling the fucking void.
Yeah.
Like, and that's actually something that that is a changed lyric in the movie. During it's changed lyric because Empty Spaces is swapped out with a longer song with the same lead-in. But Empty Spaces, which is right before Young Lust, ends with "How can I complete the wall?" And then you have this song about him literally like going out on the town to just do drugs and fuck people, right? Like, it's filling the void to let him block things out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wrap things up on this movie pretty soon.
I wanted to also say is like, I do feel to some extent like the film needed like more like space, if that makes sense, to communicate everything. Because I think it does a very good job of visually communicating it, but it feels very fast. Like there's so much stuffed into it
Yeah.
with all that it says, and I think that works on the album because it's a lot easier to communicate stuff quickly in like just in sound and through music. Um, whereas in like visually, it like you need more time for that for a lot of these things.
Hmm.
Because it's it feels like the film it's the film's simultaneously very heavy-handed, so you understand exactly what's going on, but also it has the problem of like just of having just too much stuff present. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't
but
know.
yeah,
You want to wrap up, Joe? You want to give it a
sure.
score?
I still
Uh,
think
s- let's score the album and movie separately.
yeah. Um, I still think the movie's really great. I think it's a very interesting film, even if it is like a bit over the top at points. Um, but yeah, the film I'd give like an 8 out of 10. The album, I still I really love. Um, it's a weird. I feel like the movie is like too densely packed, and the album has like a bit too much space on it for me. But the album I'd give like a 9 out of 10. I think it's a fantastic record. Um, yeah, go go listen
All
to it, I
right.
guess.
Do it, you
Yeah.
fucking cowards. You won't.
Yeah,
This is a threat. I'm gonna give the movie also an 8 out of 10. And it's a little hard to rate it as a movie because so much of its identity, like 80% of its identity, is the album, right?
yeah.
Which is, by the way, a perfect 10, and you can kiss my ass. So
Mm.
there's that for you, Brendan.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm also at an 8 out of 10 on the movie. It
Oh my
definitely
god.
has its issues, but it's still like really good. I wish, I still like I really love those animated sections. They look so good. I think,
Hmm.
and like there's a lot of other really great stuff going on. I do wish it was more abstract, more experimental, but it's still at the end a very solid film,
A very
and it's
weird
got
thing.
great music
I'm.
backing it.
That's just a very weird thing to say of a film that's already very experimental.
I know, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
it's
no,
just like it's like
I
experimental
agree.
enough, but not. It needs to be more abstract.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Um, the album, love the album. It's my like I said earlier, it's my favorite Pink Floyd album.
Hell yeah,
Um,
hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah,
I
hell
have like
yeah.
very small complaints with the album. There's like just like 2 tracks I would cut, and then it would be a 10. But anyways, I'm at like the album's a 9.5 for me.
Wait, what 2 tracks? No, I'm curious though, because I
Um,
probably agree with you here.
Bring the Boys Back Home is one of them, and The Show Must Go On. The Show Must Go On is like understandable. I just don't think it needed could have shortened it down a little bit.
Okay, no, I do disagree with you. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess if you had to cut one, Bring the Boys Back Home makes sense.
I think Bring the Boys Back Home is just out of place.
Um, well, Bring the Boys Back
For me,
Home.
Bring the Boys Back Home felt out of place in the movie too. I don't know. I just like I have problems with that track.
It's it. I think part of it is I don't really think of it as a full track because it really is just an interlude between Vera and
Comfortably numb.
Comfortably
Yeah.
Numb. Uh,
Yeah,
which,
but
by the
like,
way,
it's just
no, you go, you go.
it's so out of place in between those 2 tracks. I think.
It leads right off of Vera.
Okay, it makes sense coming after Vera, but tonally, it's so weird. I think.
Uh, don't know. Anyway, we have more pressing matters to discuss, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Because the man who remembers it, so we don't have to. Remembered the
Hello, I'm the
wall.
Nostalgia Critic. I remember it, so you don't have to.
I don't think you remember the wall. I think you might have watched it for the first time.
And yeah, probably.
Yeah, this isn't like a childhood movie or anything. Like, I don't think lots of people really have nostalgia for this.
Unless you're my Uncle
This is-
Jeff.
This is a cult movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do like joining me some cults. But that being said, the cult of the Nostalgia Critic needs to be stopped. Whatever that means, I guess. Bad segue. So, the Nostalgia Critic did, like, a 40-minute review / parody of The Wall?
Yeah, in 2019, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Guest
And,
starring... I'm told he's not Rob Scallion, but Rob Scallon, which is bullshit.
it's Rob Scallon.
Yeah. Rob Scallon and Corey Taylor, Slipknot.
It's a very interesting combination of people for this, I guess. I hope Rob Scallon made money from this.
Hopefully. His
Uh,
name is no longer associated with the album on Spotify.
Let's
It
go.
was originally.
Good job.
But I
That's-
think it's
that's
just Doug
funny.
Walker now.
Fucking dumb.
Rob Scallon, I would recommend watching his YouTube videos. He makes really fantastic content. He put up a video like a couple weeks ago about like the history of just reverb in music, and it's amazing. And I'd highly recommend checking it out.
Oh, you know what's more amazing, Joe?
What?
This
Uh,
review.
This review. Yeah, so the Nostalgia Critics The Wall is a musical recreation parody of the Wall movie.
That has like one track from the first 3 sides, and then the rest of it is from side 4.
Well, no, they do. Well, no, because they do. Well, like half of it's from the first 3 sides, and then the rest is from side 4. It's very baffling. I don't think, as we said, the movie is kind of heavy-handed in its symbolism. So
but it all went over Doug Walker's head. All of it.
Yeah, it's so weird to me because it seems very obvious that like you at least understand generally the ideas that are communicated through the film.
But apparently, in Doug's eyes, the whole movie was about Roger Waters whining about how hard it was to be a rock star. God damn it.
Yeah.
It's hard to do, as is my penis. So the review opens on or not opens, like the first big number of the review is The Wall Part 2, already skipping a little bit of the beginning.
Or well,
And
they do In the Flesh.
yeah, they do.
In the Floyd, apparently.
Yeah. Great track name. Right, and In the Floyd is basically saying, hey, this movie actually was never good to begin with, and even critics panned it at the time. He goes from saying critics were mixed to critics hated it in the same song, and if you look it up on Rotten Tomatoes, it was a very polarizing movie.
Yeah, definitely was.
People either adored it or thought it was a dumpster fire.
Which is fair.
Yep. It sure is, goddammit. And then, after that little introduction, he goes into The Wall Part 2, and it's absolutely baffling, because So it starts a little skit about how school is bad because it's teaching like useless things instead of stuff like how to file your taxes or fix a car. I don't need algebra, god damn it. I'm not going to use that in the real world. But then at the same time boils down the wall part 2 as being about just a teenager complaining that school sucks.
It's weird because he simultaneously is um like he at one point there's an article that's shown on screen that's like shows how America's school system is failing. And he's like he simultaneously has these like legitimate complaints about school that it it is weird that it doesn't teach actual like skills you need to like live, but also that when you complain about that, or well,
Well,
the
no, no,
movie
no.
isn't
His
complaining about that, but he's like, if you complain about school, or Roger Waters complaining about school, it's just him whining about it being bad, and
and
everyone
teacher, yeah. Like
thinks it's bad. So
there's a specific line where like he's making fun of Roger Waters saying, "No, there's no such thing as a good teacher. They're all vampires." Blah 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 blah, or something
yeah,
like that.
and he's a vampire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's this track called on the album, by the way, Brendan?
We
Oh,
need more
the rock one?
victimization.
Yeah, we need more victimization.
Oh, I hate that. Um,
Um, it's weird. His response is literally, he says, "LOL, so school sucks. Grow a damn pair of balls," which just like ignores
which is like the main refrain, the
point.
LOL, so school sucks. Grow a damn pair of balls. Like, oh my fucking god. Um,
Yeah,
and the track itself is hard to listen to. Not, and it's a shame because like the guitar work is actually pretty good, but
yeah,
the normal lyrics are already like, but then in between, literally every single line, Doug Walker is like giving spicy takes about the movie in a weird vampire voice.
yeah.
And it makes me want to commit die. And this is then followed up by him showing, like, recreating the scene with Floyd in the tunnel looking at the train of kids going to school, thinking it looks like a train of pigs going to a slaughterhouse or whatever.
Or well,
Um,
he says it's like, uh, he complains that they're comparing it to like the Holocaust,
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
which is it's interesting because he like is clearly ignoring the broader criticism Waters is making.
yeah, and then
Of
follows it up
authoritarian.
with
Yeah.
Goodbye Blue Sky, or his rendition of it.
So long, weird song.
Ah, yes, which I have way more to say about that, by the way, but like, he has that track afterwards, even though it's the other way around in the movie.
Yeah,
Meaning he would have had to deliberately change the order of those for his criticism of comparing it to the Holocaust, which still wasn't the direct comparison, being just irrelevant and overdramatic. Like, there is context if you want to interpret it that way in the movie, and he pretends there isn't. And like,
It
ah,
it's so
ah,
weird. I don't know, like I just don't know how Doug Walker watches movies, I guess. I've never seen a Nostalgia Critic video until I saw this
Okay,
one, right?
so
But like it's like taking a 5-second slice and being like, this 5-second slice has this problem. Let me go on about it for 5 minutes.
that's
And
how he talks about
Like,
movies in general. He
okay.
basically like summarizes a movie with color commentary, which totally isn't what we're doing. Fuck you. Uh, but something I think can sum up Doug Walker's kind of view of the world and of art in general. He has this objectively terrible idea that he says all the fucking time, that all comedy is based in suffering.
That's not true. It's really not true. We're funny and none of us are suffering, right, guys?
I don't need to answer that. This was a
Doug
bad
needs to
example.
Doug needs to watch Paddington.
Oh my god.
That's true.
He should.
Paddington is so wholesome. I love it.
Paddington is incredible. I love
Paddington is a great example of how to do nice humor.
Yeah.
How, like, one of the reasons why Steven Universe was such a goddamn cult hit on Cartoon Network was because its humor was, the humor in the whole show in general was just so aggressively kind, arguably to a fault.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Brendan, like, that's a little background on kind of this guy's world.
Dougie boy.
It's weird.
So
Well, he says,
I've been scrolling through his channel. It's so weird the kind of content that they put up. I don't understand.
Give me
Many
some
videos.
Yeah. Like what?
They have like every couple months or something. They have like a special thing. Like there was Bat May and Disney December. And
Yep.
other things. I don't even understand. And there's so many Doug Walker. He makes a lot of videos. He does like a fair number of reviews plus like podcasts plus other content. Like honestly, as cranking out content.
Like, you gotta respect the hustle, but like also, ugh. So
I don't know if any of it's good content.
yeah, it's not. I can tell you that right now. Basically, I used to watch Nostalgia Critic when I was in middle school, and then I saw a few videos of his in college that were like very recent, and his style has not changed. This is still 2010 YouTube.
yeah,
The way he makes his content. And like the way his show's humor operates. But anyway, back to Doug Walker's The Wall, or Nostalgia Critic's The Wall, right? Goodbye Blue Sky, or I'm sorry, So Long Weird Song is such a bizarre track. Because like it's saying like, it's mostly saying using these monsters in place of like machines of war or whatever is a little too heavy-handed, don't you think? And then also has a guy being rained on with like a cloud that says "my problems."
yeah. It says there's a giant rain cloud, and it says my problems, and then another rain cloud that says other people's problems starts to move in, and then the bigger rain cloud, the my problems rain cloud.
No, that's the smaller one. Yeah.
No, the my problems rain cloud is the big one, and the my problems rain cloud destroys the other people's problems rain cloud.
Yeah.
And also it rains and grows flowers that say pity on them. So,
oh my! I mean, he took the heavy-handed symbolism and ran with it. So, got to give him credit for that.
Yeah, like kind of very consistently in this review parody, um, he will complain about the way the movie does something, and then does the same thing he's complaining about in the movie, but like way worse, to complain about something barely relevant, or like a bizarro reading. Yeah,
I mean, there's the whatever the tweeting one that's completely irrelevant.
I love it. Yeah, it becomes less a criticism of the movie, or quote unquote criticism of the movie, and becomes more about Doug. Although I guess the criticisms of the movie were so off point that they basically
They were
weren't.
barely criticism in the first place.
Yeah, and then it just becomes Doug Walker complaining about people ganging up on him on social media for having weapons grade takes.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing to say about what he's saying either. It's like he did a parody song that's basically just about like cancel culture bullshit, and it's like, Doug, baby, Bubby, the love of my life.
Ooh, you might want to find a new one of those.
The wind beneath my wind. You don't need to do that. It's okay. Doug, come, let me give you a big hug. Come on, bring it in, Doug, bring it in. I forgot what I was saying. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot.
It is a lot. And then you got.
But then the booby weasel shows up.
So then the boob weasel.
What are your thoughts on the boob weasel, everyone?
I think Tit Weasel's critiques make Doug's look sane.
It's so funny. The animation, all the animated characters don't, like, they equally don't understand what they're talking about. But like in a new way, where it's like they just don't understand it. Well, I mean, they both don't understand anything about film.
Well,
It's
I guess, like, I assume Doug Walker wrote that script for them as well.
He didn't.
So.
He didn't.
No, he didn't?
No. I can actually tell you that for a fact. Basically, for those who are not familiar with Nostalgia Critic's The Wall, taking place of the trial is... Brendan, what the hell is that song called?
It's just Fenna's The Trial, because Fenna is the animator.
Of course. Animator who goes by the handle Fenna, was basically brought in to give his 2 cents and animate that whole sequence, just like in the movie. And it is his staple of animated characters complaining that the animated monsters in the trial were underdeveloped and needed more screen time.
That is, yeah. It's really, it's weird that they're complaining about character development in a film that is, in a film that is so heavily like symbolic, and that is like, where like everything within the film is sort of this, an allusion to like real life things, or problems that like Pink is experiencing. It's also weird because the animated characters are extensions of actual characters in the film. So I don't...
Yeah, they are developed, definitely. This is how Pink sees them in his head.
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. These are characters... All of the animated characters represent people we've seen in the film already. So we have the teacher, we have his mom, we have his ex-wife.
Ex-wife, yeah.
So
I don't know. I was reading the Wikipedia article, and the Wikipedia article says that she's cheating on him. So
really interesting.
Damn. I was wrong. You can eat my
It came off to me like they were
food.
just separated.
Yeah, I thought so. Apparently, so what I assume happened is she wants to have sex with Pink, and Pink is like, "Nah, I'm gonna stare at TV because I'm dead inside." And then she goes and
Me
finds someone who will actually have
too.
sex with her.
That's
Hmm.
fair.
Yeah.
He's basically ignoring her like the entire
Yeah.
time.
He's
Anyway,
ignoring everything.
guys, I think Pink Floyd isn't. I don't think he's doing okay.
Hey, it's
No.
me, Pink Floyd.
Back with another track. But no, the and this is also another example of this. I'm gonna just call it a short film. I'm gonna call Doug Walker's thing a short film. Um,
Brave.
even though actually I think 40 minutes is the minimum requirements by the Academy to be considered a not short film, but whatever.
Or it's 45 minutes. It has to be under, I believe.
Okay.
So he's just barely short.
Yeah.
Why
Barely.
wasn't this nominated for a Grammy?
I
Or
don't
an
know.
Oscar? I'm sorry, it's an Oscar. It's Oscars.
Yeah.
It should have been nominated for both.
No,
What am
I mean the
talking about?
album too.
Yeah,
So
nominated for both. I don't know.
Oscar bait song. Smoke a bong. It won't seem so wrong. What a Jesus Christ. Anyway, the
Clearly,
animated trial. Like the big complaint is these characters have cool designs, but like we know nothing about them, and it's like, okay. Then you have these weird, overly designed booby weasels and things of the like that most people
movie.
in the audience have never seen before, right? They're this guy's
Yeah.
OCs that are on his YouTube channel. Complaining about that, like, it feels a bit like the pot calling the kettle a racist.
You mean pot calling the kettle black?
I know what I said.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a joke. We laughed.
Okay.
But yeah, it's weird how he's making a critique. It's hypocritical. I don't know if it's intentional. I feel like it had to be intentional. I don't know.
It could be because it's like such a pervasive thing in this.
Yeah.
But then it's like that thing that like bad anime does, where it's like, oh man, is this going to be just like that really annoying, tired trope? And then it is.
Does the trope. Yeah. I don't know. The animation also, like the Fena animation, I think the characters are kind of cool and the animation's like fine. It just feels out of place. I don't know.
I'm just gonna say it. Those characters make me wildly uncomfortable.
I was hoping you were gonna say horny.
Well, I mean, there are some.
Like
the dragon. The dragon.
Oh God, why?
Doug Walker. Oh
yes, yes. And then it ends with.
Is Doug Walker married?
If he is, I feel bad for his wife or husband. Or
partner.
Non-binary partner. I don't know. Listen, I'm trying here.
I don't know.
Is it weird that
also,
I feel
the trial, like Doug Walker version of the trial goes on for like pretty much the same amount of time as the original of the trial.
Yeah.
It gets old.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Every other song here is abridged, but the trial. It's really trialed my patience. You see what I did there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did it. Good job.
I trialed my best.
Anyways, then they end on the SpongeBob theme with Corey Taylor, and I love that.
I
appreciate that.
I'm apparently the only person who thought it wasn't funny.
It's not
cool,
funny, but like
it's just like
it's
like I wish that was
Corey Taylor just like wanted to do.
Yeah, I wish that was just like its own little video. It was just them doing the SpongeBob theme because that would be cool. Well, before they end, they give like Doug gives his review of the film at like the very end. Like Corey Taylor's like, "Hey, what the fuck did you actually think of the movie? You haven't like
Yeah.
said anything about it."
And he
Um,
has.
well, no, he's like, or well, it
He's
wasn't saying he didn't say anything. It was just like, what was he saying? It's like you're just gonna end review on this vague
on an
note.
ambiguous note, yeah, and Doug
Um,
Walker's like, well, the movie is vague, has a vague ending, so my ending's gonna be vague. It's only fitting. And Corey Taylor's like, no, what the fuck? And Doug Walker was okay. The movie was fine.
yeah,
Yeah,
And it's like, really, Doug, that's not the impression that we got watching your entire train wreck of a video.
yeah. Like it's weird. It's one thing if you want to like poke fun at the wall, but it's very all of his criticism is like very petty. It feels like
or just flat out wrong or not relevant.
well,
Yeah.
not only that, but like
it's just
the way in which he makes the criticism is incredibly mean-spirited. And remember that thing I said before about him saying all comedy is based in suffering? I think that might be relevant.
I mean, it's weird because a lot of his comedy isn't his kind. I feel like Doug's humor is just like, haha, what if Batman met Luke Skywalker? Funny time. And that's about the level of his humor.
I take
It
it you're
is.
familiar with Demo Reel.
Yes, I am familiar. More so his movies, quote unquote, where
Oh,
this kind of stuff just happens all the time. Where it's like, what if Judge Dredd showed up? Whoa, cool.
I'll tell you guys about Demo Reel after the podcast. It's incredible.
Yeah, I've seen
Dang it.
I've seen the Ralph video on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen that as well.
Oh boy.
Anyways, so wrapping up this review of the Doug Walker review.
Yeah.
Okay. Concluding thoughts. It's really bad. It was really funny to watch. I
Amazing.
cannot watch it again unless I'm in the right mood.
I loved seeing Brendan's reaction since he literally has no idea what a Nostalgia Critic video is like, and it was just him like being like, "What the fuck?" the entire time. It was hilarious.
There were so many times where it's like, yeah, it didn't make sense a lot of the time.
There were multiple times where you're like, "I want to leave. I'm gonna leave right now."
And I like put my arm out in front of you to like.
It was astonishingly bad. Like I had heard the album before. It's been 2 years. You know, I heard it when it came out.
It's so good.
And the album's terrible. I can't recommend it. But like the video is something else. Honestly, it is a different beast entirely.
If the album's so bad, why did you give it a 7 out of 10 on your master's album list?
What? No, he didn't.
Well, you know, some people just have
what?
biases. Okay, let's call it bias.
It's cause we all know you want to bone
maybe
Doug
I'm
Walker.
sexually attracted to Doug Walker.
Yeah.
What?
It's fine. We all are.
Okay.
Anyway, what would you give this album out of 10, fellas?
Well,
album,
okay.
Short film.
Okay, so like the album on its own is a lot easier to stomach than the video, because like the album like outside of Doug being like a terrible vocalist and making really bad points, it at least has a very nice recreation of the actual Pink Floyd music done by Rob Scallon. So like the album is tolerable because of Rob's really great recreation. It's still, I'd give it like a 3 out of 10. Like it's still really bad. Just because of Doug. The short film is like a 0 out of 10 though. Like, it's literally one of the worst pieces of media I just think ever created.
Oh yeah,
It's
Doug
impressively bad
Doug
how.
Walker is the Tommy Wiseau of YouTube.
Yeah, it's impressively bad how, like the point was like somewhere in the United States, and Doug is like in another galaxy, literally. Like,
Uh,
literally, he just watched it and then didn't understand anything.
yeah.
It's like insane. So yeah,
uh, yeah. I don't know. Like, so for me, the album is really bad because you just have Doug Walker the entire time. I
Yeah,
do
what did
think
you
Doug
actually
Walker
give the album, by the way?
I think I think I would give it a 2. I think it's a 2. Um, it's really just not good. It's very difficult to listen to. It's weird because the video is definitely worse, but like I think it's more enjoyable.
Yeah.
You know, just because
yeah.
of how insane it is at
Yeah.
points.
Oh yeah.
I like there's still some things where I just like can't fully wrap my head around. But yeah, sure. I agree with Joe. Let's go with the 0. 0 seems fitting.
Okay, so like I'm very conflicted because in terms of like how much I enjoyed it, I would give it a 6. In terms of like what it deserves, I'm gonna go with a 1. Like, it's not quite 0 because like I at least enjoyed it for the wrong reasons. But like, it's atrocious.
It's like a -10, basically.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it really is like The Room, dude. He is the Tommy Wiseau
Yeah,
of YouTube. Isn't this how I pitched this to you, right?
Yes.
Was that right? Was it like a The Room level like disaster piece?
Pretty
yes,
much.
yeah.
Anyways, I think that about wraps it up. In the interest of keeping with our Doug Walker streak, next week we're reviewing To Boldly Flee.
Are you
No, I
serious?
swear to
No,
God.
we're not.
I swear
Aw,
to fucking
damn
God,
it!
if you make me watch Boldly Flee, I will stop being your friend.
Yeah, isn't that like 4 hours?
It's like
That
3.5 hours long.
It's 3.5. Yeah,
Oh my god!
it's the
It
same
would
length
be
as The Irishman.
Oh
literally,
my
if it was, if we hadn't covered Lawrence of Arabia, it would be the longest film we've watched.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, if you want a new record for longest film, you guys should watch Seven Samurai.
Lawrence of Arabia is longer, so
How long is
Yeah.
Lawrence?
4
3
hours.
hours 45 minutes.
3:45.
Seven
Seven
Samurai is-
Samurai's 4.5.
No, Seven Samurai is 3 hours like 20 minutes.
Hold on, Samurai runtime.
It's
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I'm a schmuck.
it's like not nearly as long.
I'm an idiot.
We can
I'm a
watch
big-
Set on Tango, which is
We
like
could.
7 hours.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of hours, fellas.
It's also supposed to be like one of the best films ever made. So
But it's also a lot of hours.
That is
So,
a lot of hours. Anyways,
but-
next week what we're actually doing is the album is How to Leave Town by Car Seat Headrest, and
okay.
the movie is going to be Silence of the Lambs,
Oh,
directed by.
Uh,
Should have looked this up.
This is a very professional podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, I know How to Leave Town. Jonathan Demme. Dem?
I think it's Jonathan Demme. Oh, he also
Demme's
did
a
Philadelphia.
Good Jonathan right there, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Silence of the Lambs. And
Yeah.
the question is,
What's a song that gives you shivers?
yeah.
Yeah.
tune in next time, fellas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't watch this fucking podcast.
All right, good night.